Hello, everybody. I'm Julia Chatterley, anchor for CNN, and I'm delighted to be here and in conversation with the CEO of Qatar Airways, Badr Mohammed Al-Meer. I will continue and get on with the conversation. Sir, an honor to be with you. I have a thank you first and then a congratulations second. Thank you because I flew on your airline to get here. It was very comfortable, I have to say. And congratulations on an official 13 months on the job. I know it's been a little bit longer, but it's been a whirlwind. I know. One word to describe it?
Ooh, exciting.
You can have a few more.
Exciting, interesting, challenging. Exactly what I expected.
Is it?
Yes, exactly what I expected. You know, I've been in this industry for more than 11, 12 years.
Yeah.
So it's the only difference that I get to make the call now.
It's not for the faint-hearted, whether for the industry perspective or the period of time, the geopolitics. How do you approach it as a leader? As you said, now you get to make the decisions, which is a burden, but also a luxury.
You know, it's a very challenging job. People look at the CEO of an airline as a privilege. They get to travel all the time. They don't understand that it's 24/7. We have to be alerted all the time.
Yeah.
I go to bed and I make sure my phone is at arm length from me.
Really?
People put their phones on silent when they sleep. I make sure the volume
You
is...
turn it up?
Yeah, I turn it up just to wake up if something goes wrong, God forbid. You know, it's we operate almost 300 aircrafts every day. We move almost 200,000 people every day. The safety, security, customer experience of our passengers is at our top priority. So we have to make sure nothing goes wrong. If a diversion takes place, I need to be aware of. I need to understand what will happen to the passengers, where they're going to stay, how long it will take them to get onto the next flight to reach their final destination.
Is that normal, by the way, for an airline CEO? Or is that just you and your attention to detail?
It's not normal for
How
any
much
airline
sleep do you actually
CEO.
get?
You know, the thing is, 4 or 5 hours maximum a day.
Okay.
But we have reached to us a place in the industry that we're the best. And by looking at the details, by taking care of the small details, and add to this, to my job, it's not only the airline, which is only given me this kind of pressure. Part of the group is the airport, the cargo, the private aviation,
Yeah.
the catering, the ground handling, the duty free. So it's a group. It's not only the airline. But by the end of the day, we are making sure that we achieve the expectation from us.
As I was getting off the flight, it said, "Thank you for flying with the best airline in the world." And I thought, if I were working on this plane or if I were the boss, I'd probably get a good kick out of that. Is that good, or is that also pressure? To your point, you're sort of at the top and you have to try and stay there now, which is a challenge.
It is a challenge. It's to reach to this level, whether it's the airline, the airport, the duty free.
Everything.
By the way, in the world, to continue to this level, it's a big challenge. However, my challenge is it's a big challenge for me, but I have a very strong team that is supporting me to deliver what's expected. A team that have been in the company for many years, and those requirements or those priorities.
I've met a few of them, and I know they don't sleep very much either. So it's clearly catching. Can we talk about the next 12 months to start? Because I do want to talk about your approach to people as well as customers and technology and how you're thinking about all these things. But first and foremost, you're managing a lot of risk in the region, and I just wonder whether and what your views are on hopes are perhaps on some kind of realistic path to peace and what that will mean. And it's wherever you fly. I mean, there's conflict in Africa too, and you've obviously got to focus there as well. But for the Middle East, what are you thinking at this moment?
You know, this is the part of our industry that we don't have control over.
Right.
Geopolitical situation. You sleep one day, you wake up with a war
Crisis.
happening, a crisis happening. And this is where we have to be ready. And this is where we have to have plans B, C, D, and we have to be ready for every and each scenario. And we have proven this on the ground when while our passengers are already on board our flights and airspace was closed, airports were shut down, we made sure that we get our. We had so many flights that were diverted. We had so many flights that had to stop flying over this restricted airspace. When it comes to the safety of our passenger, money or fuel. So, over or 5 similar occasions, and we have reacted within, I would say, in less than 30 minutes. I remember the first incident that took place. I was on leave for a few days with the kids, and I had to stay in the hotel for at least 4 days to make sure with my team on the ground here in Doha, things are addressed and things are taken care of.
That's the environment now. Do you think, just to talk about this a little bit more, do you think the shift in power in the United States and a future with Donald Trump perhaps will change things for the good in terms of some degree of optimism and hope for peace?
I hope so, because our industry, at least in this region, we need some stability.
Yeah.
It's for the last few months we are on our toes just to wait and see if things are going to get resolved, if things are going to get more complicated. And I hope with the new administration things will but peace will happen again and things will be resolved for the interest of the region and globally as well.
Yeah. It's not just about businesses, to your point, it's about people as well. There's hope for peace. What about tariff wars? The risk of perhaps economic slowdown, higher prices, because one of the things you ultimately have to manage is cost and cost to consumers. And they don't really understand when prices are going up, why it's not just you pocketing more money. Are you worried about sort of tariff risk, economic slowdown, higher prices again, inflation?
We are already noticing this
Right.
because of the conflict. We see problems with supply chain.
Right.
We get delays in deliveries, not only in aircraft, and the smallest spare part we have in our aircraft, we get delays in the delivery, and it's because of the conflict around the world. When it comes to tariff and prices of tickets, luckily we have managed to keep our prices the same.
Mm-hmm.
By hedging, fuel hedging, by currency hedging, because again, this is taking you back to the previous question. We have practiced or we have prepared ourselves for multiple scenarios. So as a passenger, I don't want you to search for a ticket today, Doha, JFK, Doha. You get a price, and then tomorrow something happens,
different.
and then you see 30% increase in the price. We are prepared that we don't shock our customers if geopolitical issues raise up.
You're a CEO of an airline, but you're also a hedge fund manager as well, and you have to manage that kind of financial risk. You're also a deal maker, and you do that whether or not the geopolitical environment is challenging or the economic environment is challenging, and you're clearly in sort of deal maker and diversification mode, whether it's what we've seen with Airlink in South Africa, Rwandair, of course, that's sort of coming. Virgin Australia is another one, and you've just got the pre-approval for that. Congratulations, I see the smile.
Thank you.
That's a challenging one for competitors. Where does that leave you now versus competitors?
The idea of equity investment or investment in airlines, the way we approach it is different than the traditional way. The traditional way, you invest in X company or Y company, and you wait till the end of financial year to get your dividends. If the company performs well, you're lucky. If not, then you need to wait till next year. Our approach is different. I'll give you an example how we managed or how we structured the Airlink or the Virgin Australia deal. We create a task force consisting of our commercial people, flight ops, network planning, aeropolitical, finance, and they review how this partnership or how this investment will add to the company, to the bottom line of the company. How we can work together with those airlines to have a win-win situation. For example, IAG. We have an equity investment in IAG. We don't tell IAG how to work or what to do or what not to do. And they don't do the same with us. However, our team, our commercial team, our network planning team sit together and see how they can connect more passengers, how we can utilize their network, how can they utilize our network to cover bigger area and to carry more passengers. And by the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for both of us.
It's far more proactive rather than passive as a
Absolutely.
partnership, and that's what you're saying is important.
Absolutely.
Speaking of being proactive, you've sort of mentioned it already. Whether your growth plans are there or not, capacity is constrained by the plane makers and your ability to get planes delivered and their relationships with their suppliers. This is incredibly tough. It's been tough for a while. How do you turn something that's a sort of clear headwind into a tailwind? What's the way that you manage this, perhaps, or at least you envisaging managing this that, again, tries to stay ahead of competition?
We're all suffering from the delays that we're facing from both manufacturers, and I don't only blame them for such delays, because they are facing delays with the OEMs, and they're not able to meet their deadlines with us. So we are in continuous discussion with both manufacturers to see how we can mitigate those risks and delays. It is tough. And unfortunately, everybody's suffering from it. However, our position is better than our competitors. We have the youngest fleet in the industry. So instead of exiting our aircraft when it gets 10 years old or 11 years old, we extend the life time of our fleet. Where you see other airlines, they're bringing their aircrafts back from retirement, 25, 30 years old. You see other airlines are spending money to basically upgrade the interior of their aircrafts because they've been in service for more than 15, 16 years. So luckily for us, our aircrafts are new. We have the youngest fleet average age in any major airline. Does this satisfy us? No.
I was about to say, you have time to be a gentleman, but it's still frustrating.
It is frustrating.
Yeah.
It is frustrating, yes.
I want to talk about technology as well. I obviously entered through Hamad International, so I've seen what your past has done for a sort of digital savvy and understanding of an airport. Talk to me about what Qatar Airways 2.0 means for innovation, for AI, for Starlink. We have to talk about Starlink.
Yes. Innovation, technology, customer experience were at the top priority for us from last year. And it is all linked. Customer experience, to achieve this level of customer experience, you need to have proper innovation and infrastructure and technology. So this is where we're focused. It's a closed loop. I'll give you a simple example. AI, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
We are heavily invested in AI. And it's not only promises that we're going to do this or we're going to do that, or it's an auto answering.
Yeah, because a lot of CEOs say that. We're investing in AI. You're like, well, what's that going to mean for the consumer?
Yeah, and again, I don't want a customer to call our hotline and get an answer by an AI.
Really?
No, I don't want this.
Never?
No, not now.
Okay.
Not now. I want to focus on other areas where I can give better experience to our
So
passenger.
you're not focusing on replacing workers with AI at this stage. It's about a better customer experience.
Exactly. And I'll give you some examples. We're looking at improving the customer experience of our passenger when it comes to catering offering on board.
Yeah.
So AI will allow us to understand what are the highest demands when it comes to certain meals on board. I flew on few occasions where I ordered a meal and they told me, sorry, we don't have it anymore. Yeah.
You missed it.
You missed it, exactly. This is where AI will help us to make sure that if the demand is high on, let us say, Arabic mezza, we will make sure that we uplift enough Arabic mezza for the flight.
Okay.
And instead of having 40% of this specific type of dish, we will increase it to 67, 68%. At the same time, this will help us to cut cost.
Okay.
The number of wasted meals, not only us, and every other airlines are facing every month and every year is enormous. So this will help us. Basically, we will hit two birds with one stone. We will achieve the customer experience by making sure we don't run out of their preferred option, and we reduce the wasted meals.
Sustainability, it's so important.
Exactly.
I want to talk about that, but I do want to talk about Starlink because we were talking before this interview and I'm going to be able to FaceTime my mother, which is very exciting, from a flight in the not too distant future. Why is the partnership with Starlink and providing that level of connectivity to customers so important? Because there's sort of a beauty of being out of touch on a flight at times versus having to make phone calls the whole way through, particularly on a 13-hour flight. Talk to me about this, why you're sort of flying the flag in terms of adopting this technology.
You know, being connected is very important, and we see very high demand from people either to stay connected on their WhatsApps, on phone calls, and there is big demand also from people to see live streaming, to watch their favorite games, to watch certain events where they don't want to miss it because they're flying for 10, 13 hours.
So you think actually there's a benefit that people will arrange their flights and not worry about timing it for certain events if they've got the connectivity in the air?
Absolutely.
So that's important.
Yes, I was on a flight to London a few days ago, and the guy sitting next to me was watching, I don't remember, a UFC game or a rugby game. It was live. He connected his iPad with an HDMI cable to the screen, and he was watching.
Off he goes.
Yes, live. It was, and I was watching the news. So whatever interests people. So the project is moving forward and a very fast track. By the end of the year, we will have it on 14 aircrafts. By April, May, we will have it on 50 or 60 aircrafts. And hopefully the whole fleet by end of next year or beginning of the following year, not because it's taking us too long to install, because we don't have enough kits. Starlink is not producing enough kits.
Is it going to cost passengers?
It will be free of charge.
Really?
For everybody on board.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it must cost money to do it.
It will cost money, but when you provide such customer experience, it is worth it.
When you're the best airline in the world, you provide this service. That was so.
Yes.
Let's talk about sustainability 2.0. I mean, the sort of Rubicon here would be SAF, would be finding a way to fuel these planes in a sustainable, in a clean energy manner. Why is this such a struggle?
It is a struggle because the policy that was put in place, nobody can achieve it. And I'm not talking about the airline. I'm talking about the suppliers, about the energy companies. They are not able to satisfy the demand. Not even the demand, the policy that was put as percentage by the regulators.
They can't satisfy demand at a given price.
Exactly. Not even quantity. They cannot even satisfy the demand quantity-wise. So we are forced to use whatever they're able to supply us with until they can finalize whatever they're doing to increase their production.
How do we fix this?
You know, from our end, again, we are There are few ways to fix it by having a very young fleet. Because it has the best technology, it has the best engines, carbon emission is very low, and we are covered in this. Again, by signing as many deals as you can for SAF. We're doing this as well.
Okay.
The only remaining area for the energy suppliers will be able to increase their production.
Oof. How long does that take?
Yes.
It's not in our lifetime.
I hope it will be, but
we're talking a decade.
yes.
More.
This is why we continue to invest in replacing our existing fleet with newer aircrafts.
Yeah, it's just an ongoing challenge. Something I wanted to talk to you about that you've made clear, I think, is a sort of shift in focus that doesn't just focus on the customer experience, the luxury experience, the innovation that you've discussed. It's about balancing between how important you make your workers feel as well as your customers. A lot of CEOs, I think, say this. They'd like this to be part of the ideal. It's tough to follow through, as we've seen with labor all over the world. Why does this matter to you? And why does it matter for the business and the bottom line, perhaps equally importantly?
You know, for so many reasons. I will give you maybe 2 or 3 reasons. Yeah. Being the best, as soon as you step a foot into the airport, you will be invited by one of our workers, by the ground staff or the ground handling or the airline staff. If they're not happy and doing what they're doing, if they're not satisfied, if they're not comfortable in their jobs, they will not be able to reflect this dealing with customers. And again, being at this level or being where we are now, it's because of the hard work of our workers. So they need to be, and I always say this, as much as passengers love to fly on Qatar Airways, I want our staff employees to love to work for Qatar Airways. So this is the only way to be able to achieve and maintain where we are.
It's about building a sustainable work culture as well.
Yes.
Sustainability is not just about the climate; it's about keeping people.
And you spend money with your workers. You get the best of the best. You spend months and days and months to train them, to get them at the same level. If they're not comfortable, they will resign and they will go to
a competitor.
And then you go through the cycle again. You hire more people, you train them, you spend money. They leave and they go to a competitor. So competitors were basically getting advantage from the training that we give to our people.
I tell you who could use a raise at your company, the social media team.
Yes.
They are doing a phenomenal job.
Yes.
You have how many? 48 million followers on social media?
Yes, 48 million.
It's not a normal brand strategy. It's not a corporate brand strategy that you run on social media. Give me the thinking behind. You're sort of an influencer on a massive scale.
Yes.
And content creators.
Yes.
Talk to me about this and again how it ties to the bottom line. Is this actually bringing customers to Qatar Airways?
It is. At first you're attracting or you're approaching certain level of customers that are not used to the old traditional way of marketing or advertising any company.
Yeah.
You're targeting Gen Zs or those young generations, and nothing better than social media to give them a message through the platform that they spend hours and hours every day on. And also we are working with other influencers or the content creators that know exactly what this kind of generation is looking for. We have already built our loyal customer base. Now the fight is on the younger generation between us and our competitors. So we want to bring them on our side. We want to have the young generation to be loyal customers, and it is the time to do it now.
Because you have 3 children, do they consult you on what you're getting right and wrong on social media?
Yes, they're surprised that I understand
I'm always quite surprised when I talk to a CEO that understands social media.
Yes.
But to your point, it's so important because these are the customers of the future.
Exactly.
And you have to engage on their level and the way that they choose to engage. We talked about your lack of sleep. How much time do you actually spend on weekends patrolling and just understanding and talking to workers? Because I heard a rumor that you spend a lot of time.
Yes, yes, I spend my weekends and part of my weekdays after office walking around our operation center, our terminal, our cargo facility, our catering facility, just to see how operation is and just to make sure that our customers are being looked after.
I read a blog post from a very happy brother of a girl that was very distressed in Doha airport because she was on standby for a flight. It was not anything to do with you guys. She was just lucky enough to meet the CEO of Qatar Airways because you went over and asked how she was. And the next minute she found herself on a business class flight to JFK. I mean, in hindsight, it's a brilliant PR opportunity, but that wasn't your point. Your point was that you saw someone in distress, I think, and you wanted to help.
It wasn't meant to be a PR.
No, it came later, but
Yeah, and honestly, I was surprised to see it on social media. I will tell her, please
no,
don't.
because lots of people were on flights.
Yes, and she didn't know that I was the CEO until she discussed it with one of our lounge people. But it's not a unique case.
You've done this before.
I've done this before. 60,000 employees of Qatar Airways, they do it all the time.
Right.
And it's something that is in our in our blood, in our genes, in Qatar Airways. Looking for help or who's looking for assistance, and we will approach them. We will not wait for them to come and approach our help desk or ask for help. No, we will go and address their problems. And I'm telling you, it happens hundreds and hundreds of times every day. This was not a unique case.
Why does it matter to you to be that person that fixes those problems, whether we find out about it or not? Because I think that says something about you as a leader too, which I think we're just learning and discovering. Who are you as a leader?
You will make me emotional now.
That's okay. You can be emotional. It's a safe space.
Yeah. You know, it's part of our culture in Qatar. And in Qatar, we're known to help people. And for many, many years, outside Qatar will come to us asking for asylum, asking for help, asking to be protected. This is in our DNA. This is who we are. And this is what we're trying to have, to make sure that the people of Qatar Airways have the same in their DNA. And we're lucky to be able to have achieved this.
So when we have this conversation in a few years' time, are you still going to be the best airline? You're going to do whatever it takes?
We'll still be the best airline, inshallah, and we'll still be raising the benchmark. And people will always refer to us as the best airline. And we'll continue, because this is what we enjoy, make our competitors sweat.
Chase after you.
Yeah.
So thank you. Great to chat to you. Thank you.